Happy morning, students. I hope you all are safe at home. I invite you all for the social online class. Today we are going to see third unit in civics, state government. Welcome you all, students, to this part 2. We have already seen about governor and chief minister in part 1. Let us now see about the state legislature. State legislature. The constitution provides a legislature, that is Sattamandram, for every state. This legislature is of two types, unicameral and bicameral. Most of the states have only unicameral legislature, that is legislative assembly, lower house. Some state has bicameral legislature. For example, states like Bihar, Karnataka, Maharashtra, Uttar Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh and Telangana has bicameral legislature. The lower house, that is legislative assembly, represents the people of the state. The upper house, legislative council, represents special interests like teachers, graduates and local government. So the lower house consists of members of the legislative assembly elected by the people, whereas the upper house legislative council represents special interests like teachers, graduates and local governments. They are nominated but not elected and selected. See the chart given. Can you understand this? See the legislature. It is of two types, unicameral and bicameral. Unicameral, that is only legislative assembly, it is a lower house, and bicameral, it is two, legislative assembly and legislative council. Legislative assembly is a lower house, legislative council is the upper house. States like Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan and Odisha follows only unicameral legislature method, whereas states like Bihar, Karnataka, Maharashtra, Uttar Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh and Telangana has bicameral legislature. Here in unicameral, people represents the state. In bicameral, teachers, graduates and local governments represents the state. See the picture. Tamil Nadu Legislative Assembly. Where it is? Yes, it's in Chennai. In Tamil Nadu, according to the strength of Legislative Assembly, 234 members. So the number of ministers may be up to 36, that is 15% of 234. Let us now see the first one, lower house, the Legislative Assembly. The Legislative Assembly is a popular house. When you compare the lower house and the upper house, that is Legislative Assembly and Legislative Council, the most popular house is a Legislative Assembly. It is the real center of power in the state. The entire power rests in the hands of the Legislative Assembly. It consists of members directly elected by the people on the basis of adult franchise. So all the members of the Legislative Assembly are elected through the process of election by the people on the basis of adult franchise. What do you mean by adult franchise? Every citizen above the age of 18 in India has the right to vote. This is called as a adult franchise. The strength of the assembly varies from state to state. So based on the area of the state, it has been varying. For example, if you take Tamil Nadu, you have 234 members, whereas Kerala, it is only 140. If you take Pondicherry, the Union Territory, the strength is only 30. See, however, the maximum strength of the assembly must not exceed 500. That is, the member of the legislative assembly should not cross 500. That is, the maximum should be the 500, and its minimum strength not be below the 60. Each and every legislative assembly should consist of at least 60 members. So the range varies from 60 to 500. The term of office of the legislative assembly is 5 years. These people can be in power for 5 years. The size of the legislative council cannot be more than 1/3 of the membership of the legislative assembly of that state, but its size cannot be less than 40. So legislative council size cannot be less than 40, and how it is calculated means it should not be more than 1/3 of the membership of the legislative assembly. So based on the legislative assembly members, the members of the legislative council is also fixed for each and every state. Let us see the composition of Tamil Nadu Legislative Assembly. The Legislative Assembly of Tamil Nadu consists of 235 members. So totally, how many members are there in Legislative Assembly of Tamil Nadu is 235. Out of this, 234 members are directly elected by the people from the various constituencies on the basis of adult franchise, and one member is nominated by the governor from the Anglo-Indian community. You see the picture, you can very clearly understand. Tamil Nadu state, the total number of legislative members are 235. Out of this, 234 are elected members on the basis of adult franchise, and one is nominated member, and that is also a Anglo-Indian, and this Anglo-Indian is being nominated by the governor. Yes, next very important topic, cabinet and cabinet committees. What is a cabinet? Cabinet is a smaller body, and it is a nucleus of the Council of Ministers. It consists of only the cabinet ministers. Who were called as the cabinet ministers? They were the senior and most important ministers. It is a real center of authority in the state government. Yes, they have the entire power, authority. The cabinet works through various committees called cabinet committees. They have been divided into many committees, and the cabinet works through these committees. They are of two types, standing and ad hoc. The former one is of permanent in nature, while the latter are of temporary in nature. Yes, see the chart given here. The cabinet ministers, what is called as a cabinet? Senior and most important ministers are called as cabinet ministers. So this cabinet is nothing but a group of council of ministers. They are of two types, standing and ad hoc. Standing are permanent in nature, and ad hoc are temporary in nature. Let us see another very important topic, the speaker. Who is the speaker? He is the presiding officer of the Lok Sabha. So the Legislative Assembly elects two of its members, one as the speaker, another one as the deputy speaker. The speaker may be removed from office by a resolution of the assembly after giving a 14 days notice. How the speaker can be removed from office? By a resolution by letter passing the assembly after giving a 14 days notice. Such a resolution must be passed by a majority of the members present at the time of voting. Such a resolution must be passed when it has to be passed by a majority of the members present at the time of voting. The Speaker does not vacate his office when the assembly is dissolved. When the ruling party doesn't have a majority, the entire ministry has to resign. Even then, the Speaker does not vacate his office. He continues to be the Speaker until the first sitting of the new assembly or the first sitting of the new government. While the office of the Speaker is vacant, the Deputy Speaker performs this function. When the Speaker is not present, if it is vacant, the seat is vacant, all his works will be performed by the next person, Deputy Speaker. See the picture. The one who is sitting at the center, see, it is marked in red. That particular person is called as a Speaker. See, all the other ministers and MLAs are sitting down, including the Chief Minister, and the Speaker is presiding the Lok Sabha meeting. Yes, the Speaker and Deputy Speaker of Tamil Nadu is portrayed here. The Speaker of Tamil Nadu Assembly, Mr. P. Dhanabal, and the Deputy Speaker of Tamil Nadu Assembly, Mr. Jayaraman. See the Speaker and Deputy Speaker of Pondicherry. Speaker of Puducherry Assembly, Mr. V.P. Sivakolundu, and Deputy Speaker of Puducherry Assembly, Mr. M.N.R. Balan. Next, let us see the upper house, the Legislative Council, the Vidhan Parishad, that's the Legislative Council. It forms a part of the state legislatures of India. It is a permanent house because it cannot be dissolved like that of the State Legislative Assembly, which is temporary. Every member of this Legislative Council, that is MLC, serves for a 6-year term. Their term of office is 6 years, not 5 years as that of the MLAs. 1/3 of members expire every 2 years. For every 2 years, 1/3 of the members get retired. MLCs must be citizens of India, not under 30 years of age. So, to become the member of Legislative Council, the person, the Indian citizen, should be of 30 years of age. Another qualification is mentally sound, that he should be mentally strong. That means he should not be mad, and his name should be in the voters list. His name should be in the voters list of the state from which he or she is going to contest in the election. Next, election to this Legislative Council. How this Legislative Council members are elected. 1/3 of the members are elected by local bodies, and 1/12 of the members are elected by graduates of the universities in the state. Another 1/12 of the members are elected by graduate teachers. 1/3 of the members are elected by the members of the Legislative Assembly, that is MLAs. 1/6 is nominated by the governor, who is eminent, who is expert in the field of literary excellence, art, social services, or cooperation. Yes, next heading is the chairman. The presiding officer of the Lok Sabha is the Speaker. The same way, the presiding officer of the upper house is the chairman. The members elect a chairman and a deputy chairman from among themselves. So, among themselves, they will be selecting one person for chairman and another person to act as a deputy chairman. In the absence of the chairman, the deputy chairman officiate the functions of the legislative council. If the chairman is absent, all his works and functions will be carried out by the next in charge person, that is the deputy chairman. Abolition or creation of legislative councils. Article 169 deals with the creation or abolition of legislative council in a state. Yes, how it can be done. Article 169 holds that if the state legislative assembly, that is state legislative assembly, passes a resolution by a majority of not less than 2/3 of the members present and voting, and by the majority of total strength of the house, requesting the parliament to create or abolish the state legislative council, then the parliament may by law provide for the abolition and creation of the legislative council. That is, what they are trying to say is, if the members of the state legislative assembly passes a resolution and 2/3 of the members support that the legislative council should be formed or cancelled, they will pass a requisition to the parliament to create or abolish, and then the parliament may by law provide for the abolition and creation of the legislative council. So to create the legislative council or to abolish the legislative council lies in the hands of the members of the state legislative assembly. 2/3 of the members should support for either to create or to abolish. Functions of the state legislature. So in this topic you will be learning about the legislative power, financial power, and the controls over the executive. So before going into the legislative power, let us see this chart. Types of list in the constitution. There are 3 types of list: union list, state list, and concurrent list. What do you mean by this union list? There are certain items where only the parliament can make laws. So totally 98 items are there where only the central government or the parliament can make the laws. State list, it includes 59 items. That means each and every state legislatures can make the laws. And third one is a concurrent list. It is a law where both the state and the central government can make it. It includes totally 52 items. Now let us see the legislative powers. The state legislature can pass laws on all subjects mentioned in the state list as per the constitution. Now we understood what I mean by the state list. That is, only the state legislatures can make laws, and it includes the 59 items. Then it can also pass laws on concurrent subjects. Yes, concurrent list, as I told, where both the state and the central government can pass the laws. So it can also pass laws on concurrent subjects. The state made law in a concurrent subject will become inoperative when the center also passes a law on the same subject. If a state government passes a law and the same law is once again passed by the central government, then the law passed by the state government will become a validless. Next, the passing of bill into law follows the same procedure as in the union parliament. How the bills are passed in the central government, in the parliament, the same procedure will have to be followed while passing a bill in the state legislature also. Every bill passes through 3 readings, then it becomes an act with the governor's assent. So every bill, it passes through the 3 stages. Then finally it goes to the governor for his assent. Then it will becomes an act. Next, financial powers. The legislature controls the finances of the state. The finance control is only in the hands of the legislature of a particular state. The lower house enjoys greater power than the upper house in money matters. What is lower house? Yes, state legislative assembly. What is upper house? The state legislative council. When you compare these two, the lower house enjoys the greater power than the upper house in the finance matter, in money matters. Money bills can be introduced only in the lower house or the legislative assembly. It cannot be introduced in the upper house or the legislative council. No new tax can be levied without the sanction and permission of the assembly. You cannot levy any of the new tax. If at all you levy, it has to be get a proper permission from the legislative assembly. Next function, controls over the executive. The council of ministers is responsible to the assembly. Yes, we have seen this in the previous topic itself. The ministers have to answer to the questions asked by the members of the legislature. So whatever questions are put forth by the members of the legislature, they may be of the ruling party or maybe the opposition party, the ministers have to give their answers to them. They can be removed from office if the assembly passes a vote of no confidence motion against the ministry. So the legislature has to be cancelled when the no confidence motion was passed against them. What do you mean by this no confidence motion? It is a statement or vote about whether a person in a position of responsibility is no longer deemed fit to hold that position. A voting will be done whether the ruling party has the majority. If they show the majority, then they can be in their power. If not, they have to resign their ministry. Yes. Next important topic, judiciary of state. Can you guess what picture is that? Yes, right. It's a picture of Chennai High Court. Yes. Let us see about the High Courts. The institution of High Court originated in India in 1862 during the British period. The High Courts were set up at, so in their period, the High Courts were set up at Calcutta, Bombay and Madras. Later, each province in British India came to have its own High Court. At its beginning, we had High Courts only in 3 places, Calcutta, Bombay and Madras. Later, each province in British India came to have their own High Court. After 1950, a High Court existing in a province became the High Court for the corresponding state. The High Courts are the highest courts at state level. So after 1950, what happens? A High Court started to exist in all the provinces of the British India, and it became the High Court for that corresponding states. Then the High Courts are the highest courts at state level even today. The Constitution of India provides for a High Court for each state. So each and every state will have a High Court. The 7th Amendment Act of 1956 authorized, that is sanctioned, the Parliament to establish one common High Court for 2 or more states, or for 2 or more states and a union territory. So one High Court will function for 2 states, or it can function for 2 states and for a union territory. For example, see the box there. For the states of Punjab, Haryana and for the union territory Chandigarh, you have a High Court only at Chandigarh. See this next example. For the states of Assam, Nagaland, Mizoram and Arunachal Pradesh, you have only one High Court which is present in located in Guwahati. The High Court of Guwahati has its benches in Itanagar, Kohima and Aizawl, the capitals of all the states. Then Delhi, though not a state, has its own separate High Court. Every High Court has a Chief Justice and a number of judges. Who is called as a Chief Justice? He is the head of all the judges. He is called as a Chief Justice. The number of judges varies from state to state. All the High Court will not have the same number of judges. It varies from one state to the other state. The number of judges of each High Court is determined by the President. The President will decide how many number of judges should be present in each of the state High Court. At present, there are 25 High Courts for 28 states and 9 union territories. Yes, next topic. Jurisdiction and powers of High Court. See the tabular column. 3 new concepts are given there. What's the meaning of jurisdiction? It's nothing but legal power or authority. This jurisdiction is of 2 types. One is appellate and another one is the original. See the appellate. It refers to matter for which the particular court review the lower court decision. That is, cases coming from the lower court to the High Court. Original jurisdiction refers to matter for which the particular court is approached first. If the case comes first to the High Court, then those jurisdiction comes under the original jurisdiction. Let us now see in detail what you mean by original jurisdiction. The High Courts of the Presidency towns, that is Bombay, Calcutta and Madras, have both original and appellate jurisdiction, while other High Courts have mostly appellate jurisdiction. I explained to you what do you mean by appellate jurisdiction and original jurisdiction. These 3 towns, that is Bombay, Calcutta and Madras, will have both original as well as appellate, whereas other High Courts have mostly appellate jurisdiction. So only in matters of admiralty, probate, matrimonial and contempt of court they have original jurisdiction. What do you mean by all these 4? Only in matters of admiralty. Admiralty is cases concerning with ships or the sea and other navigable waters. Probate, cases concerning with will, that is assert. It is a legal process for reviewing the assert of a person. Matrimonial, cases dealing with marriage affairs. And next, contempt of court, being disobedient of a court of law and its officers. So all these 4 matters, they have only original jurisdiction. That is, these cases will go straight to the High Court. The Presidency High Court have original jurisdiction appellate jurisdiction. As courts of appeal, all High Courts entertain appeals in civil and criminal cases from their subordinate courts as well as on their own. They have, however, no jurisdiction over tribunals established under the laws relating to the armed forces of the country. Listen students, both the civil and criminal cases will be heard in each and every lower court and the judgment will be given. If the given judgment is not satisfied, then the people can appeal to the High Court. Those type of cases which are coming from lower court to the High Court for second hearing is called as appellate jurisdiction. But however, the cases relating to the armed forces, that is military, cannot come under appellate. Next one, writ jurisdiction. What do you mean by writ? It is a legal order to do or not to do something given by a court of law. It is an order issued by the court either to do something or not to do. Under Article 226 of the Constitution, the High Courts are given powers of issuing the writs. So, the High Courts of each and every state are given power of issuing the writs according to the Article 226 of the Constitution. The writs are issued not only for the enforcement of the fundamental rights but also for other purposes. So don't think that the writs are issued only to enforce all the fundamental rights given for us by the Constitution, but it can also be issued for some other purposes also. In exercise of this power, a court may issue the same type of writs, order or direction which the Supreme Court is empowered to issue under Article 32. What method the Supreme Court is following in order to issue the writs, order or direction, the same procedure the High Court also will follow in exercise this power. The jurisdiction to issue writs under this article is larger in the case of the High Court. Issuing of writ is larger in the case of the High Courts. The Supreme Court can issue them only when the fundamental right has been infringed. Supreme Court has the right to issue the writ only when the fundamental right has been infringed. What is the meaning of infringe? To break a law or a rule or an agreement. High Court can issue them not only in such cases but also where an ordinary legal right has been infringed. See, High Court will issue a writ only when the fundamental right has been infringed. But High Court can issue them not only for such cases but also even for an ordinary legal right has been infringed, it can issue a writ. It has the power to issue the 5 kinds of writs. What are the 5 kinds? Habeas corpus, mandamus, prohibition, quo warranto and certiorari. Habeas corpus, mandamus, prohibition, quo warranto and last one certiorari. See the 5 kinds of writs issued by the High Court. Habeas corpus, mandamus, prohibition, quo warranto and certiorari. Habeas corpus, it is issued to arrest a person and to be brought before a judge. Mandamus, issued to a person to perform a public or statutory duty. Prohibition, issued by a superior court to the lower court, directing it not to proceed with a case which does not fall under its jurisdiction. Quo warranto, issued to ensure that the person holding a public office to which he is not entitled. Certiorari, order by which a higher court reviews a case tried in a lower court. These are the 5 different types of writs issued by the High Court. Next one, last one, supervisory jurisdiction. High Court has the power of superintendence over all courts and tribunals functioning in its territorial jurisdiction. That is, High Court supervises over all lower courts which comes under its control except the military tribunals. So what are the supervision it's going to do? Call for returns from them, make and issue general rules and prescribe forms for regulating the practice and proceedings of them, prescribe forms in which books, entries and accounts are to be kept by them, and settle the fees payable to the sheriff, clerks, officers and legal practitioners of them. Yes, it will be asking for a report regarding each and every cases. A prescribed forms will be given in which books, entries and accounts are to be kept by them. Make and issue general rules and prescribe forms for regulating the practice and proceedings of each and every cases, and settle the fees payable to the sheriff, clerks, officers and other legal practitioners of them, who is called as a sheriff. Sheriff is a principal law enforcement officer in a country. Is court of record. All the decisions and decrees issued by the High Court are printed and are kept as a record for future references by the court as well as by the lawyers in such a way need arises. Thus, it also acts as a court of record. All the decision and decrees. What's the meaning of decrees? An official order given by a government. So all the decision and order issued by the High Court are printed and are kept as a record in a book form. This record can be verified for future reference both by the court as well as by the lawyer if the need arises. Thus, it acts as a court of record. Yes, we have come to the end of the lesson conclusion. So recollect what all you have learnt in this lesson. Yes, we have seen the state governments, three branches: executive, legislature, judiciary. Under executive, we have discussed about the governor, chief minister, the council of ministers, their powers, their function, their appointment, everything. And in legislature, we have seen the two houses: legislative council upper house, legislative assembly lower house, and how the persons are selected, what are their term of office, what are their duties, what are their powers, what are their functions. And judiciary, we studied about the High Court, District Court, Supreme Court, various jurisdictions, appellate, original, writ, supervisor department, and also the court of record. I hope you understood all the concepts very clearly. Thank you, students. I'll meet you again in the next chapter.